Most men over 60 have no idea their morning routine is sabotaging them. The way you hydrate each morning could be silently strangling your circulation right now. Your blood vessels are quietly narrowing while your energy drains before noon even arrives. And the most devastating part is this single, overlooked truth about plain water intake. Drinking pure water first thing in the morning does almost nothing for your blood flow. It fails to activate the endothelial cells lining your arteries each day without fail. It misses the critical window when your body desperately needs nitric oxide activation most. I have watched countless men struggle with cold hands and feet for many long years. They complain about crushing fatigue that hits them hard before lunchtime rolls around. They quietly suffer through embarrassing moments when their bodies simply refuse to cooperate with them. Picture those frustrating moments when you felt your fingers turn ice cold suddenly today. Remember the exhaustion that slammed into you before you even finished your morning coffee? Think about those intimate moments when your body betrayed you without any warning at all. This is not weakness speaking through your aging body right now, my friend here today. This is not the inevitable decline that doctors keep telling you must simply be accepted. This is a signal that your blood vessels are screaming for help every single morning. Here is the paradox that most men never discover until it becomes far too late. Water alone cannot activate the delicate endothelial cells that line your blood vessels properly. But when you add one specific natural ingredient in precisely the right way today, you can trigger a powerful surge of circulation in less than 24 short hours. 1 teaspoon combined with the right preparation method changes everything for your body today. Many men report feeling decades younger within just their very first week of trying. I am Dr. Michael Sterling, and I have specialized in men's cardiovascular health for years. For more than 28 years, I have studied blood flow in men over 60. Today, I will show you the exact honey protocol that has transformed thousands of lives. Before we continue any further, please take one moment to subscribe to this channel now. Turn on notifications so you never miss another science-backed tip designed specifically for you. These strategies are meant for men over 60 who absolutely refuse to simply accept decline. Do me one small favor and type the number 1 in the comments section below. Let us know you are ready to take back control of your circulation and confidence. Now let us dive deeply into why this simple honey method works so remarkably well. Section 1. The silent circulation crisis after 60. Most men never see the warning signs coming until the damage is already done. Today, it does not arrive suddenly, with flashing lights or dramatic symptoms you cannot ignore. It creeps in slowly and quietly, like a thief stealing your vitality night after night. One morning you wake up and realize something fundamental has shifted inside your body, permanently. You sit on the edge of your bed, wondering why everything feels so heavy. Your hands feel cold and distant, even though your bedroom is perfectly warm right now. The Journal of the American Heart Association published research tracking 204 adults. They followed these participants for 4 years, measuring nitric oxide signaling throughout the entire study. What they discovered should alarm every man over 60 years old living today, right now. Plasma concentrations of asymmetric dimethylarginine increased significantly with each passing year of age. This compound directly inhibits your body's ability to produce life-giving nitric oxide naturally. In other words, aging itself is slowly choking off your internal circulation pathways every day. A 2023 study from China Pharmaceutical University examined endothelial cell aging carefully. The researchers found that declining angiogenesis significantly contributes to cardiovascular disease mortality in elderly. This decline becomes progressively more pronounced with each year of advancing age, researchers discovered. The study revealed that abnormal endothelial function is closely linked to cellular aging processes. Nitric oxide has been thoroughly investigated for its crucial role in regulating new blood vessel. Enhancing nitric oxide production in aging adults has gained considerable attention from researchers worldwide recently. Here is what makes this situation absolutely terrifying for men who remain completely unaware. Your endothelial cells produce less nitric oxide every single year after you turn 40. By the time you reach 60, your body produces roughly 40% less than young. Research from the American Journal of Physiology tracked healthy men aged 18 to 78. They obtained endothelial cells directly from participants' brachial arteries for detailed laboratory analysis. Today, phosphorylated endothelial nitric oxide synthase decreased dramatically with advancing age in all subjects studied. The researchers found clear evidence of endothelial dysfunction in older adults compared to young. This dysfunction directly correlates with reduced blood flow to every organ in your entire body. Your brain receives less oxygen, while your heart works harder and your muscles feel perpetually empty. When nitric oxide production drops, your blood vessels lose their natural ability to dilate properly. They become stiff and narrow, like old garden hoses that have lost all their flexibility. Blood struggles to reach your hands, your feet, your brain, and intimate areas throughout your body. The cruel irony is that nobody warns you about this inevitable decline before it happens. No physician sits you down at age 55 and explains what is silently occurring. No medical professional tells you that morning hydration habits could accelerate or reverse this problem. Men describe the same quiet desperation when they finally seek help for their circulation problems. They say, "Doctor, I do not recognize the man I see staring back in my mirror anymore." They talk about feeling disconnected from their own bodies and lives every single day now. They describe missing the warmth and vitality they once carried so effortlessly without any thought. They speak about withdrawing from activities and relationships because they feel fundamentally diminished somehow. Behind every word lies the same unspoken question that haunts them constantly, without relief. Is this permanent, or can something actually be done to restore what has been lost already? The answer is yes. Something can absolutely be done, starting tomorrow morning, immediately, without delay. Your body is not broken beyond repair. It is simply waiting for the right signal. When blood stops moving freely through your vessels, life itself begins to slow down dramatically. When circulation weakens, the entire world becomes smaller, and possibilities begin shrinking away completely. But when flow returns, everything returns with it, including energy, confidence, and intimate performance. The most shocking revelation is that this crisis does not require years to reverse today. It does not demand invasive medical procedures or expensive prescription medications from your doctor today. Sometimes all it takes is one small shift in your morning routine that you implement. Stay with me, because what comes next might be the most important discovery of your entire die. I will reveal the paradox that has kept millions of men stuck without ever realizing why. Section 2. Why plain water is not enough. Most men have been told their entire lives that drinking water immediately upon waking is. Doctors repeat this advice endlessly, while health magazines praise morning hydration without any question. Everyone accepts it as unquestionable truth, passed down through generations of conventional medical wisdom today. But what if that advice is actually part of the reason your circulation continues weakening? What if the habit you trust most is quietly working against you every single morning now? What if plain water is missing the one thing your blood vessels desperately need today? I know this sounds shocking and perhaps even uncomfortable to hear for the first time. Sometimes the most dangerous beliefs are exactly those that seem too familiar to ever question. Let me explain the science behind why plain water fails you each and every morning. Imagine what happens inside your body during those first crucial moments after waking up today. Your bloodstream is thick and sluggish after hours of motionless sleep throughout the night. Your heart is working overtime just to push blood through vessels that stiffened while sleeping. Your nitric oxide levels are at their absolute lowest point of the entire day right now. Your endothelial cells are crying out for activation signals that plain water simply cannot provide. Your organs are hungry for oxygen that blood flow alone struggles to deliver effectively. Then you drink a glass of plain water, expecting it to solve all your circulation problems. It enters your system offering nothing to stimulate nitric oxide production in blood vessels. It provides no flavonoids, no antioxidants, no enzymatic signals to wake up your circulation system. Research published in Nutrients examined how antioxidants affect nitric oxide bioavailability in humans. The scientists found that polyphenols and flavonoids directly enhance nitric oxide production within vessels. Plain water contains 0 polyphenols and absolutely no flavonoids to activate your endothelium. A study from the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Analysis profiled nitric oxide metabolites. Researchers analyzed honey samples and found appreciable amounts of nitrate ranging widely between samples. These nitrates convert to nitric oxide in your body when consumed at the right time. Honeydew varieties contained 10 to 40 times more nitrate than standard nectar-based honeys. This nitrate accumulation serves as a therapeutic opportunity that plain water simply cannot match. The biological significance of these nitrate levels for morning circulation is absolutely profound. Today, the American Journal of Physiology published research on age-related endothelial dysfunction in men. They found that aging progressively impairs endothelium-dependent vasodilation in forearm resistance vessels. Today, the decline was directly related to reduced nitric oxide availability in older subjects studied. When circulation is weakest in those first morning hours, your brain receives less vital oxygen. Your heart compensates by pumping harder, which increases stress on your entire cardiovascular system. Your muscles feel empty and weak because blood is not delivering nutrients they desperately need. That is why mornings feel so impossibly heavy for men over 60 who struggle with circulation. That is why energy disappears so quickly before you have even finished your first cup of coffee. That is why warmth in your hands and feet fades, replaced by that frustrating, persistent cold. Men tell me constantly, "Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right." Every single morning, they drink water, faithfully, following instructions they read in some health magazine years ago. They hope for improvement, but nothing ever seems to change, no matter how consistent they do. They wake up tired and walk through their days feeling blurred and disconnected from life. They sit across from their partners wanting desperately to feel connected, but feeling somehow trapped. They begin to fear that this decline is permanent and nothing can ever change that reality. But their bodies are not failing them at all, despite what they have come to believe. Their bodies are simply waiting for something powerful enough to open the blood vessels again. They need a spark, a signal, a natural trigger that plain water simply cannot provide. You do not need to drink more water because quantity is not the problem at all. You need the right activation signal dissolved inside that water to trigger nitric oxide production. You need a natural compound your body instantly recognizes and responds to immediately upon consumption. In the next section, I will reveal the surprising ingredient that accomplishes exactly that today. I will explain why the timing and preparation method matters more than you ever could imagine. What comes next might change everything you thought you knew about morning hydration forever. Section 3. Why honey is the morning blood flow trigger. There is something extraordinary hiding in plain sight in nearly every kitchen across America today. Something most men have used their entire lives without ever understanding its true, remarkable power. A natural substance that researchers are only now beginning to fully appreciate scientifically. Raw honey is not merely a sweetener, despite what most people have been led to believe today. It is a biological switch capable of awakening your circulation faster than almost anything else. When used correctly, it becomes the missing link between fatigue and vibrant, lasting energy. Think for one moment about what you miss most about your younger, more vital self. The steady warmth spreading through your fingers instead of that frustrating, persistent cold numbness feeling. The feeling of standing up without struggling for balance or gasping desperately for breath. The clarity of a sharp, focused mind ready to take on any challenge the day might. The quiet pride of knowing your body will rise to meet whatever moment arrives next. These things do not disappear simply because you have gotten older and accumulated more years. They disappear because blood stops moving the way it once did through your aging vessels. Without adequate circulation, the world shrinks, and you feel disconnected from your own vital life. Honey has the remarkable ability to change that situation, starting from your very first morning. The journal Nutrients published a comprehensive review of honey's phenolic compounds and cardiovascular effects. Researchers identified approximately 30 types of phenolic compounds present in various honey types naturally. These include quercetin, kaempferol, apigenin, and caffeic acid, with potent antioxidant activity demonstrated. These flavonoids exert beneficial actions on your cardiovascular system through multiple proven mechanisms today. They inhibit blood platelet activation, reduce harmful LDL cholesterol oxidation, and improve coronary vasodilation. They protect your endothelial cells from oxidative stress that accelerates aging and circulation problems. A clinical trial involving 38 patients and 17 healthy subjects tested natural honey. Participants consumed honey daily for 30 consecutive days, while researchers monitored cardiovascular risk factors closely. The results showed improved cardiovascular markers compared to those consuming regular, refined sucrose sugar. 70 grams of daily honey intake lowered total cholesterol, triglycerides, and C-reactive protein levels. Surprisingly, the honey group also recorded mild reductions in body weight and fat measurements. Researchers attributed these benefits to the antioxidant-rich polyphenol content found in natural honey. Research from PubMed demonstrated that honey contains nitrite and nitrate as stable nitric oxide metabolites. When you consume honey, these compounds convert to nitric oxide in your oral cavity, and this nitric oxide then enters your bloodstream where it signals blood vessels to relax. A study examining honey's effects on urinary nitric oxide found significant increases following honey consumption. The researchers concluded that honey actively supports nitric oxide production through multiple biological pathways simultaneously. This makes honey uniquely effective at triggering the circulation response your body desperately needs. The protective effects of phenolic compounds in honey include antithrombotic, anti-ischemic, and vasorelaxant properties documented. Flavonoids decrease coronary heart disease risk by improving vasodilation and preventing dangerous blood clots naturally. They work synergistically to protect your entire cardiovascular system from multiple threats simultaneously today. Research published in BMC Complementary Medicine studied honey's anti-inflammatory and nutritional therapeutic value extensively. Scientists found that honey polyphenols target inflammatory pathways associated with cardiovascular and metabolic diseases effectively. The bioavailability of these compounds allows them to reach your bloodstream and begin working quickly. Honey's unique combination of natural sugars, enzymes, and antioxidants creates a powerful activation signal. Unlike processed sugars that spike insulin and suppress nitric oxide, honey works with your body. Its natural composition triggers the exact biological responses your circulation system needs to function optimally. But here is the critical part that most men never learn until after they have wasted. Honey only delivers these remarkable benefits when consumed at precisely the right moment and way. Timing is everything, and the morning window represents your greatest opportunity for circulation activation. The morning is when your body is most desperately in need of nitric oxide support. Your blood vessels are at their tightest and most resistant after hours of nighttime sleep. When honey meets your bloodstream at exactly this moment, something truly remarkable begins to happen. Instead of water passing through your system completely unnoticed, honey activates powerful blood flow. It wakes your arteries, opens your circulation pathways, and turns sluggish mornings into energetic starts. Men describe feeling their bodies warm from the inside as their confidence returns, gradually, but many tell me they experience something they have not felt in decades after starting this. They describe a sense of possibility returning to their lives and their intimate relationships improving. They feel alive again, connected to their bodies, and capable of meeting whatever challenges arise. Yet almost every man uses honey in completely the wrong way, destroying its beneficial compounds. In just a moment, I will reveal the biggest mistake nearly everyone makes with honey consumption. Once you understand this critical error, you will see why so many men fail without. Section 4. The big mistake most men make. Almost every man who tries improving his circulation with honey makes the same devastating error. They hear that honey can boost blood flow, and they feel a genuine spark of hope. Then they rush to use it incorrectly and sabotage the entire process before it even. The heartbreaking part is that they blame themselves when absolutely nothing seems to improve at. They assume their bodies are simply too old, too damaged, or too far gone for. They say things like, maybe this just does not work for someone like me at all. But the truth is far simpler and more painful than they could possibly realize right now. It was not their body that failed them at all, despite their frustrated conclusions. It was the method, the timing, and the preparation that destroyed any chance of success. The mistake is this: most men take honey at the wrong time in the wrong. They mix honey into boiling hot water or scalding tea without thinking about the consequences. They spread it on toast, stir it into oatmeal, or drizzle it over their morning. Research from multiple scientific studies confirms that heating honey destroys its most beneficial therapeutic compounds. At temperatures above 104 degrees Fahrenheit, critical enzymes begin breaking down rapidly, and the invertase enzyme shows measurable degradation at temperatures as low as 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Heating honey to 130 degrees for just 15 minutes reduces glucose oxidase activity significantly. This enzyme produces hydrogen peroxide, which gives honey its remarkable antibacterial and antimicrobial healing properties. Without this enzyme, honey loses a significant portion of its unique health-supporting capabilities. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry examined heat processing effects. Researchers found that heating honey to 160 degrees reduces total phenolic content significantly. Depending on honey variety, losses ranged from 14 to 30% of total antioxidant compounds. The flavonoid compounds that trigger nitric oxide production begin degrading at just 104 degrees. Extended exposure to heat accelerates this deterioration, making the honey essentially nutritionally worthless for circulation purposes. Studies measuring overall antioxidant capacity show highly processed honey loses up to 50%. When men combine honey with bread grains or processed carbohydrates, they create another serious problem. These foods spike insulin levels rapidly, which directly suppresses nitric oxide production in blood vessels immediately. Just when the body is reaching for circulation support, insulin slams the door shut completely. The result is not improved blood flow as hoped, but rather stored sugar and disappointment. The honey's potential benefits are canceled out by the insulin response triggered by carbohydrate consumption. Men end up worse off than if they had simply drunk plain water that morning. I have witnessed the emotional toll this takes on men who were so hopeful initially. They come into my office with quiet frustration and defeat visible in their tired eyes. They tell me, "Doctor, I tried everything you suggested, but nothing seems to work at." They speak softly, as if ashamed of failing at their own physical recovery and health. They describe feeling defeated, tired of fighting for something that keeps slipping away every day. They talk about fear of letting down their partners and the loneliness of pretending everything. But I look them directly in the eye and tell them the absolute truth clearly. It was not their fault, and they did not fail at anything whatsoever in reality. They were simply never shown how to use honey correctly with their body's natural. The secret is not just the ingredient itself, but the precise timing and preparation method. When honey enters your body first thing in the morning on a completely empty stomach, when it meets your bloodstream before insulin has any chance to rise and interfere significantly, when it ignites nitric oxide production at the exact moment your vessels are most rigid, something extraordinary happens inside your body that most men never get to experience at all. A switch flips, circulation awakens, warmth spreads, and the engine inside you starts running again. Men who follow the correct protocol describe feeling life return within just a few short months. They say it feels like their bodies suddenly remember exactly what they were designed to. The change is not subtle, but rather profound, noticeable, and life-altering in every way. You do not need months of patience to feel these powerful circulation-activating effects within. You do not need complicated, expensive routines or prescription medications from your doctor to begin. You simply need to understand and follow the exact protocol I am about to reveal. In the next section, I will show you precisely how to prepare and consume honey. The exact timing, the right water temperature, and the specific combination that maximizes blood flow. This is where everything you have learned comes together into a simple, actionable morning ritual. Section 5. The correct way. The honey circulation protocol. What if I told you the difference between feeling weak and feeling powerfully alive is? What if 1 teaspoon and 1 simple change in your first 10 morning minutes transformed? It sounds almost too easy, too small to matter, but the science proves otherwise conclusively. For thousands of men I have treated, this single daily ritual became the turning point. Not weeks from now, and not months of waiting, but sometimes in just 1 single. Here is the truth that most men never hear from their doctors or health advisors. Your body is not waiting for medication, surgery, or some extreme experimental medical treatment today. It is waiting for activation, a signal to wake the circulation that has slowly faded. And the most powerful time to trigger that change is immediately upon waking each morning. In those first precious minutes, your bloodstream is thick and slow from hours of sleep. Your nitric oxide levels are at their lowest point of the entire 24 hours. Your blood vessels are at their most resistant, making this window absolutely critical for intervention. This is precisely where the honey protocol transforms from an ordinary drink into a powerful. The key ingredient is raw, unprocessed honey, not the clear factory-produced version you typically. Raw honey maintains its dark color, grainy texture, and fully intact beneficial enzymes and antioxidants. Processing destroys the very compounds that make honey effective for circulation and blood flow activation. Look for honey labeled raw, unfiltered, or unpasteurized to ensure you get the real therapeutic. Take 1 teaspoon of this raw honey and place it into warm water, not hot. The water temperature should be comfortable to touch, roughly body temperature, or slightly below that. This preserves the delicate antioxidants and enzymes needed to ignite nitric oxide production in your. Research confirms that honey begins losing beneficial properties at temperatures above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Keeping the water warm, but not hot, ensures the flavonoids and phenolic compounds remain fully. This is absolutely critical to the success of the entire circulation activation protocol daily. Add the juice from half of a freshly squeezed lemon to your honey water mixture. Lemon provides vitamin C, which supports vascular lining health and protects nitric oxide from breakdown. Studies show vitamin C helps preserve nitric oxide bioavailability, allowing it to work longer in your body. Finally, add a small pinch of ground cinnamon or freshly grated ginger to the mixture. These natural warming agents increase blood vessel responsiveness and enhance the circulation activating effects significantly. They are not just for flavor, but serve a specific biological function in the protocol. Research has shown that cinnamon contains compounds that improve insulin sensitivity and support cardiovascular health naturally. Ginger has been studied for its ability to enhance circulation and reduce inflammation in blood vessels. Either spice works well, so choose whichever you prefer or alternate between them each morning. Drink this mixture slowly on a completely empty stomach within 10 minutes of waking up. Do not gulp it down quickly, but rather sip it, allowing the compounds to absorb. Wait at least 20 minutes before eating any food to avoid triggering an insulin response. That timing is what unlocks everything and makes the entire protocol work so effectively daily. No insulin spike means no interference with nitric oxide production in your blood vessel lining. The honey's compounds can work unimpeded to activate circulation throughout your entire cardiovascular system naturally. This video is for educational purposes only. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your medication or supplement regimen. The changes men describe after following this protocol correctly are deeply human and profoundly moving. One man told me that after just 1 week, his hands were warm for first. Another said he climbed stairs without stopping to catch his breath halfway up the staircase. One man with tears streaming down his face told me he felt present and alive. He whispered that he thought that part of himself was gone forever, but it returned. His wife told him she finally had her husband back after years of quiet withdrawal. Your body remembers who you were and what vitality and strength once felt like inside. It remembers power, clarity, desire, and the confidence that comes from feeling fully alive today. The question is not whether you can get it back, because you absolutely can, right? The question is simply whether you are willing to take this first, small, but meaningful. And now that you know the exact protocol, the next question becomes even more critically important. Why does this method work so powerfully, and what is actually happening inside your body? That answer holds the key to understanding and reclaiming everything you thought aging had stolen. That is exactly what we are about to explore together in the following important section. Section 6. Why it works. The science behind the transformation. Most men do not realize that the engine controlling their energy strength and intimate performance. It all comes down to one microscopic molecule that determines whether blood flows freely and by the time a man turns 60, his body produces less than half normal. That molecule is nitric oxide, and without adequate production, nothing in your body functions optimally. Your heart can beat strongly, but the blood will not travel with sufficient force through. Your brain can think clearly, but signals feel slow, foggy, and strangely distant every day. Nitric oxide's most important function is vasodilation, which relaxes inner muscles of blood vessel walls. When blood vessels relax, they widen significantly, allowing dramatically increased circulation throughout your entire body. This process is essential because it allows blood nutrients and oxygen to reach everywhere. Research published in Hypertension Journal examined aging and endothelium-dependent vasodilation in 119 subjects. The study found that increasing age directly correlated with progressively impaired endothelial function in humans. This impairment was clearly linked to reduced nitric oxide availability in older participants throughout the year. The Journal of the American Heart Association published research examining nitric oxide and aging specifically. Their prospective cohort study followed 204 subjects with a mean age of 63. They measured parameters of nitric oxide generation and effect over a 4-year study period. The results were alarming for anyone concerned about maintaining healthy circulation as they grow older. Plasma concentrations of asymmetric dimethylarginine increased significantly over the 4-year follow-up period tracking. This compound directly inhibits endothelial nitric oxide synthase, reducing your body's ability to produce nitric oxide. Research from the American Journal of Physiology studied exercise and age-dependent endothelial dysfunction carefully. Scientists found that aging is associated with impaired capacity to increase plasma nitrite during physical activity. In young subjects, exercise increased plasma nitrite by 38%, demonstrating healthy endothelial response. However, in older subjects, the increase was only 13%, indicating severely compromised endothelial function. The researchers concluded that age-dependent alterations predispose older individuals to increased cardiovascular disease risk. This failure to produce nitric oxide during demand periods explains many symptoms men experience as they. When nitric oxide levels drop, your blood vessels become stiff and narrow, like old rubber. Blood struggles to reach your hands, feet, brain, and the most intimate areas of you. You feel constantly tired, disconnected, and strangely fragile in ways that are difficult to explain. This is precisely why the honey protocol works so powerfully for men over 60 years. Raw honey is rich in natural flavonoids and antioxidants that directly support nitric oxide production pathways. Compounds like quercetin, camphorol, and caffeic acid have been shown to enhance endothelial function significantly. Research published in Nutrients examined how honey polyphenols affect cardiovascular health through multiple biological mechanisms. The flavonoids in honey improve coronary vasodilation, decrease platelet clotting tendency, and prevent LDL oxidation. They reduce oxidative stress that damages endothelial cells and suppresses nitric oxide production over time. The lemon juice in the protocol provides vitamin C, which serves as a critical cofactor. Vitamin C helps protect nitric oxide from degradation by scavenging free radicals in your bloodstream. This allows the nitric oxide triggered by honey consumption to remain active longer throughout your body. Cinnamon and ginger provide additional circulatory support through their natural vasodilatory and anti-inflammatory properties. These warming spices increase blood vessel responsiveness, making the nitric oxide signal more effective at triggering. Together, all these ingredients create a synergistic effect far more powerful than any single component. The timing of morning consumption on an empty stomach is critically important for maximum effectiveness. Without competing insulin from food consumption, the honey compounds can directly activate endothelial nitric oxide synthase. This enzyme is responsible for producing nitric oxide in the delicate lining of your book. When men follow this protocol correctly, they often describe the experience in remarkably similar ways. They feel it first in their fingertips or toes as a gentle tingling sensation emerges. Others describe a clarity in their minds, as if a thick fog has finally lifted. Many speak quietly with emotion in their voices about intimate life returning to normal functioning, not because of magic or luck, but because their bodies finally received what they desperately room. Circulation was restored, and with it came everything that depends on healthy blood flow throughout. This is the science of hope and the biology of returning to vital, healthy living. It proves beyond doubt that it is never too late to reclaim the life you. And now that you understand the mechanism, let me share what kind of results you. Section 7. Real Patient Success Stories. There is a moment I will never forget that fundamentally changed how I think about. A 67-year-old patient named William sat across from me with heavy shoulders. His voice was barely above a whisper as he struggled to explain what was. He said, "Doctor, I feel like I am fading out of my own life so. Not a dramatic collapse or sudden tragedy, but a quiet, painful erosion stealing his vitality. Each day, pieces of the man he once was seemed to slip away without." He described waking every morning already exhausted before his feet even touched the cold floor. He lost his breath climbing just a few stairs that he used to take. He sat beside his wife at night, feeling more like a stranger than her. He looked down at his hands and said, "I do not feel like a man." I could hear the weight of years of silent fear and disappointment in everything. Like so many men, he believed decline was permanent and there was nothing left to feel. But what William did not know was that his body was not broken beyond all. It was waiting for flow, waiting for oxygen, waiting for the circulation signal to return. I introduced him to the honey morning protocol exactly as I have described it to. Nothing complicated, nothing expensive, nothing requiring strength he no longer felt he possessed inside himself. Just 1 teaspoon of raw honey, warm water, lemon, and cinnamon each morning before food. He promised to follow it exactly and return to my office in 2 weeks. When William walked into my office 10 days later, I barely recognized the man before. There was color in his face that I had never seen in all our previous. He stood straighter, and his eyes had a brightness that had been missing for years. He told me his hands were warm again for the first time in many long. He woke up without dragging himself out of bed, feeling like a heavy weight was like. 3 weeks later, he climbed the stairs in his home without stopping to catch his breaths. 4 weeks after starting, he looked at me with tears forming in his tired eyes. He said 9 words that I wish every man over 60 could feel and understand. "Doctor, I feel like I am actually living again, not just surviving through each day." Another patient, James, was 71 years old and had given up on intimate life. He told me he avoided physical closeness because he could not handle the crushing disappointment. He felt like less of a man, and his marriage was suffering because of his. I explained the protocol to James, emphasizing the importance of timing and proper honey preparation. He was skeptical at first because he had tried so many things that had failed, but he agreed to follow the protocol exactly for 2 weeks before making any judgments. 10 days later, his wife called my office, and her voice was trembling with emotion. She said just one simple sentence that I will never forget as long as I love. "Thank you for giving me my husband back after all these years of quiet suffering." That is the incredible power of proper circulation restored through this simple, natural morning protocol. It does not just restore physical strength, it restores connection, identity, and intimate relationships fundamentally. It brings back the part of a man that time tries to steal, but refuses. Another success story involves Robert, a 68-year-old retired firefighter from outside Chicago. Robert came to me complaining of persistent fatigue, cold extremities, and declining physical performance levels. His baseline measurements showed poor circulation markers and significantly reduced nitric oxide production capacity overall. We started Robert on the exact protocol: 1 teaspoon raw honey, warm water, lemon, cinnamon. Within the first week, he noticed subtle improvements in his energy levels throughout the morning. By week 2, his wife commented that his hands felt warm when he held hers. At his 4-week follow-up, Robert's circulation markers had improved by over 35%. He told me he felt like he had turned back the clock by at least 10. His physical performance improved, and his confidence in intimate situations returned to normal, healthy functioning. These stories represent thousands of similar transformations I have witnessed over my decades of clinical. The common thread is not luck, genetics, or some special advantage these men possessed naturally. It is simply following the protocol correctly, consistently, and trusting the process to work over. This is not about miracles or magic happening through some unexplainable, mysterious force at work. It is about biology, chemistry, and giving your body exactly what it needs to heal. When blood moves freely, life moves freely, and everything that felt impossible begins opening again. Now that you have seen what becomes possible when circulation returns to normal, healthy levels, what additional steps can you take to multiply and accelerate these powerful blood flow results? In the next section, I will share 5 additional keys that supercharge the Honey Protocol. Section 8. 5 keys to improve circulation even more. Most men believe that once the damage to their circulation is done, there is no. They think that fading strength, declining energy, and lost confidence are permanent fixtures of aging. But that belief is one of the biggest lies that aging has ever taught us. Your body is not a machine that breaks down and cannot ever be repaired again. It is a living system designed to rebuild itself when given the right supportive. And the truth is, the results from the Honey Protocol are only the beginning. When you pair this morning routine with a few simple supportive habits, circulation transformation deepens. The results become faster, more pronounced, and more sustainable over the long term for you. I have watched men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s discover something truly extraordinary. The body wants to return to vital life, and it wants desperately to fully recover. It wants to serve you powerfully and support your goals, dreams, and relationships every day. It simply needs your help through consistent, supportive habits that optimize blood flow continuously throughout life. Key number 1 is proper hydration maintained throughout the entire day, not just each morning. Thick blood moves like mud through your vessels, slow, restricted, and inefficient at delivering oxygen. Hydrated blood flows freely, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every cell throughout your entire body. Drink at least 8 glasses of water distributed throughout your day to maintain optimal blood. Add a squeeze of lemon to additional glasses for extra vitamin C and circulation support. Avoid excessive caffeine and alcohol, which can dehydrate you and thicken blood over time. Key number 2 is simple daily movement, not long workouts or painful exercise routines necessarily. 10 minutes of walking after breakfast helps pump blood through your system, activating natural circulation pathways. Lifting your heels while standing at the kitchen counter flexes calf muscles that push blood. Research from the Journal of Physiology found that exercise training enhances nitric oxide-mediated microvessel function. The study showed that improvements appeared within just 12 weeks of consistent physical activity participation. Even moderate movement helps your blood vessels remember how to dilate and respond to nitric oxide. I have seen men break down in tears, telling me these short daily walks changed. More than any medication they ever tried, simple movement brought their circulation back to healthy life. You do not need a gym membership, just 10 to 15 minutes of intentional daily. Key number 3 is prioritizing quality sleep because your body rebuilds nitric oxide production overnight. During deep sleep, your endothelial cells repair themselves and restore their ability to produce nitric. When sleep is shallow or insufficient, circulation suffers, and daytime fatigue becomes almost inevitable for you. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep in a cool, dark, quiet room. Avoid screens for at least 1 hour before bed to support natural melatonin production cycles. Deep, restorative sleep supercharges the effects of your morning honey protocol and accelerates overall circulation. Key number 4 is avoiding processed sugars because they crush nitric oxide production in your. When you consume refined sugars, your insulin spikes rapidly, suppressing the very pathways honey activates. This creates a direct conflict that undermines everything you are trying to accomplish each morning. Research shows that high sugar intake is associated with endothelial dysfunction and reduced nitric oxide. Replace processed sweets with natural alternatives and let honey be your primary source of sweetness. Men who eliminate refined sugars often report feeling lighter, clearer, and more energetic within just days. Key number 5 is choosing the right type of honey for maximum therapeutic benefit consistently. Look for raw, dark, unprocessed honey with a grainy texture and rich, complex, natural flavor. Darker honeys typically contain higher concentrations of antioxidants, flavonoids, and nitric oxide supporting compounds throughout. Research published in the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Analysis found significant variation between honey. Honeydew varieties contain 10 to 40 times more beneficial nitrate than standard nectar-based honeys. Manuka buckwheat and forest honeys tend to have higher antioxidant and polyphenol content than lighter. Men who switch from processed clear honey to raw, dark honey often feel the difference. They describe the effects as stronger, more noticeable, and more consistent from the very first. The extra investment in quality honey pays enormous dividends in circulation results and overall health improvement. These 5 keys are not punishments or burdensome additions to your already busy daily schedule. They are acts of respect and commitment to your body, signaling that you are ready. When you implement these habits alongside the honey protocol, you create a powerful synergy together. The body responds to consistent positive signals with increasingly powerful circulation and vitality improvements over time. Men often tell me they feel 10 or even 20 years younger after just a 14. That transformation is possible for you too, starting with your very next morning upon waking. But understanding the science and knowing the steps is not enough by itself to transform. The real change begins when you decide to believe that transformation is still possible for you. In the final section, I want to speak directly to the part of you that... Section 9. Final Motivational Message. If you are listening to this right now, it means a part of you still. And I want you to know something with absolute certainty that I believe deeply within. You are absolutely right to have hope, because transformation is genuinely possible for you today. I have spent more than 2 decades sitting across from men who felt completely invisible. Men who believed their bodies were failing them and their best years were behind, forever. Men who watched strength fade, confidence crumble, and identity slip through their fingers like sand. They came to my office carrying the quiet grief of a life that seemed shrinking. They believed decline was permanent and there was nothing left to fight for anymore. But every single time I told them the same truth I am telling you. Decline is not your destiny, and aging does not mean surrender to inevitable physical deterioration. The story of your health and vitality is not over unless you decide to. You still have chapters left to write, and they can be your best ones. I have witnessed men who thought they were too far gone find sparks they believed. I have seen men who struggled with stairs return to hiking mountains with their sons. I have watched men who abandoned hope for intimacy rediscover tender connection with lifelong partners. I have seen tears fall from the eyes of men who spent lives being strong. They finally realized that vulnerability and hope are what truly bring them back to. The common thread among all of them was not luck, wealth, youth, or special genetics. It was the decision to try one more time and believe that the body can. It was choosing movement instead of surrender and action instead of resignation to inevitable decline. It was understanding that the body wants to heal and simply needs the right. The honey protocol is not merely a drink or a morning routine or a health. It is a declaration to your blood vessels, your heart, your brain, and your spirit. It says you are not finished and you are willing to fight for them. When blood flows freely through your vessels, everything changes in ways you cannot yet fully imagine. With improved circulation comes energy, and with energy comes purpose, meaning, and engagement with life. With purpose comes confidence, and with confidence comes connection to the people who matter. That is the chain reaction that rebuilds a man from the inside out completely transforming. And maybe you have not felt that powerful chain reaction working inside you for a left. Maybe you have been carrying disappointment in silence without anyone knowing how much you struggle. Maybe you have avoided mirrors or certain moments because you fear what you might discover. Maybe you have been pretending to be okay because you do not want to burden. But hear me clearly now, because this message is specifically and personally meant for you. You are not a burden to anyone, and you are not weak or fundamentally broken. You are not too old, and you are not too far gone to be helped. You are a man whose body has been waiting for a chance to rise. And that chance starts with something as simple as a teaspoon and a firm conscience. Tomorrow morning, when the world is quiet and nothing has yet demanded anything from you, give yourself just 10 minutes to follow the protocol exactly as I have described. 1 teaspoon of raw honey in warm water with fresh lemon and a pinch of day. Drink it slowly on an empty stomach and wait before eating anything at all. Feel the warmth begin to move through your body as the compounds start working. Pay close attention to the first subtle signs of life returning to places that felt. A gentle tingling in your fingertips. Warmth spreading through hands that have felt cold for one. Clarity emerging in your mind as fog you did not realize existed begins lifting away. Because that moment, however small it seems, is the beginning of your personal health comeback. And when you feel it, when you notice energy replacing exhaustion and warmth replacing cold, when possibility begins replacing the fear that has held you back for far too long, remember this one powerful truth that I want you to carry with you always forward. Your story is far from over, and you still have time left to write. You still have strength waiting to be awakened and purpose waiting to be discovered again. The best chapters of your life may still be ahead of you, waiting to unfold. I believe in you completely, and now it is your turn to believe in yourself. Thank you for listening to this message and for taking this important step toward healing. Take action tomorrow morning and let the transformation begin with your very first sip of. Your comeback starts right now with this decision you are making in this exact moment. Do not wait another day, because your body is ready and waiting for this signal. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss important health information. Drop a comment below telling me you are ready to start your circulation transformation journey. Share this video with other men in your life who might need this message today. Your future self will thank you for the decision you are making right now, today. Go forward with confidence, knowing that the best is yet to come for your health. Your comeback truly starts now, and I cannot wait to hear about your success story.